Hi, this is John Ashton. Welcome to Poddywood.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very, very special episode of Poddywood with a very, very special guest. I am one of your co-hosts, Steve Hester, and with me, as always, is
your special guest. That's me. Just joking. It's called humor. Andrew Roger Carson, co-host of Poddywood. This is a truly special episode because it's not often that we always get so excited to see one of our regulars come back and making his fifth appearance on Poddywood. First time on video, I might add. Fresh from completing his filming on Beverly Hills Cop Axel Foley. John Ashton, how are you doing, buddy?
How you doing, guys?
Yeah, it's really good to see you back again.
It's great to see you guys. You guys are always a lot of fun. So hopefully this will be fun too.
Yes. That's our defense for Netflix. So you've just got back from Los Angeles, fresh off the plane, fresh off the shooting for your return as Sergeant John Taggart. Iconic role. Everyone knows who Sergeant John Taggart is. Even Jim Meakin knows who Sergeant John Taggart is. But this is something that we have talked about over the 4 previous shows. The last time we had you on the show, you were still waiting on that call. And I believe you got the call. Was it in September, maybe?
Actually, I got the call in July.
Oh, you dark horse, John. You kept it from us.
I got the call. Actually, I was in Chicago in July and August, and I was negotiating while I was doing the other film in Chicago. So it was kind of it was called All Happy Families, the one in Chicago, and so it's kind of weird trying to negotiate one thing while you're shooting another, and trying to keep my head in the project that I was working on at the time, and try to split my mind with negotiating on the film. So anyway, it all worked out fine. So,
well, given how much of a big thing Beverly Hills Cop was, particularly for anyone that grew up watching 80s movies, how hard was it to try and keep this all a secret until you were allowed to let it out of the bag?
It's pretty hard. I mein, because everybody's been waiting for this film for 20 years, so they've been talking about it for 20 years. And it was pretty hard to keep a lid on it, but and it still is, because actually they're still filming. They're in Detroit filming now. They finish December 6th. So I'm technically still on the payroll.
Well, obviously,
They're paying you for this.
In looking at it, earlier this year, it was Adil El Arbi and Bilal Fallah who were down as the directors for Beverly Hills Cop 4. And I believe they left the project around March. They were the original directors. They directed Bad Boys for Life. I think they were also the directors of Batgirl. That film does exist, by the way. We've heard. And obviously now we get probably one of the most freshest names we've got as a director is Mark Malloy. So was it Mark Malloy who reached out to you specifically?
Well, no, the studio did, and they wanted me to have a Zoom meeting with Mark, and we decided it'd be better to have a personal meeting. So I flew to LA and had a meeting with Mark there, and he said all the right things about how he wanted to do Cop 4, and he gave me a little bit of the storyboard, but he said he wants to take it back to the 80s and get it back to where it was, and he hit the nail on the head for me. Like I said before, I wasn't interviewing for a job. I really wanted to see what he had to say and where his head was at and where he wanted to go with the project. And he said all the right things. And and that's the way we shot it. I mean, he stuck to his guns, and I looked up his credits just to see, what kind of things he had shot previously, and he did a great job with. He did a lot of Apple commercials and videos, and they all looked great, and so I was content with that. And then Adu is our cinematographer, and he's from Europe somewhere, and I don't know where. Mark is from Australia. Adu, I can't remember where he's from, Italy but great cinematographer. And we had a tremendous crew. And the title of the movie now is Axel F, not Axel Foley. It's Cop Axel F. But the crew is fantastic, and we, Judge and Eddie and I were shooting a scene one night, and one of the crew guys came over to me and he says, "Boy, I got the chills." And I said, "Why?" And he said, "I was 7 years old when the first one came out. To see you three guys back together gave me the chills, man." So that was a nice compliment. And I said, "Well, you having fun?" He goes, "Yeah, this is great. I love it." And he was just one of the,
this goes to show we're all still fans at heart, and I think so many people are now waiting on this next installment of Beverly Hills Cop. I mean, there's been so many promises that a fourth movie was going to happen, and there was various directors. I think even someone like Michael Bay was attached at one point. Louis Leterrier was attached, and none of them ever got off the ground. But now here we are, and I've got to ask. Obviously, Jerry Bruckheimer is riding high off the success of Top Gun Maverick,
right?
And do you think this was kind of an inkling that this is time to make this work? If something like Top Gun from the same era, it can do those kind of numbers, is it time to pull this script out and actually make this movie work?
Right. Yeah. Jerry's great to work with. I mean, he came to the set a few times. He's an executive producer. They're very, very rarely on the set, but Jerry, most of the times when Judge and Eddie and I had scenes, he would show up because he wanted to. And it was a great compliment. And I got the shingles while I was working. I still have them, but and I got a shingle shot, months ago, and I got it still, and it was very painful. And I had about a 3.5-page scene to do with Eddie one day, and I couldn't sleep all night because I couldn't. My sides were killing me, and so I got to work, and I really felt crappy because I didn't get any sleep and stuff. And I had a 3.5-page scene with Eddie to do, and so I got to the set, and Mark said, "How you doing?" And I said, "Not too good." And Jerry happened to be standing right there, and I told him, I said, "I got shingles and I couldn't sleep, and I feel like crap." And Mark said, "Well, can you work?" And I go, "Yeah, I can work," And Jerry said, "He's a pro. He's one of the best in the business. He can work," which was a nice compliment coming from Jerry Bruckheimer. So I did the scene, and it all worked out fine, I think. But anyway, it was great having Jerry around. It was great seeing him, and he's the best. He's great, and I love working with him.
Well, this has been, like you said, this has been a long time coming, this follow-up, and it has taken so many different aborted attempts to try and get it off the ground. What made this one so different?
The script, I believe. I think
no.
Eddie kept waiting for a good script, and one finally came along. And Jerry, I mean, he found Mark somehow, and got him involved. And for Jerry to take a shot with Mark, being his first feature film, that just says something for Jerry Bruckheimer, and I think he made the right choice. And the script is I think the audience is going to love it. The script is great, and a lot of action, comedy. It may top the first one.
That's a bold claim.
That is a bold claim. But what we do have to say here, for anyone who's tuned in to find out plot details, due to confidentiality agreements that John has signed and the fact that officially Netflix has not released a statement on what the plot is, even though there are sources out there claiming on what the plot is. We don't want to land John in trouble. We are not going to cover what the plot is. That is going to come at a later date. We don't know. We don't want to know yet.
No,
We'll
we
find
don't
out.
we don't want to spoil it for you.
Exactly.
You know, we
No,
want you
no,
to
no.
actually watch the film yourself. We don't want to
But-
spoil anything.
But what we do want to know about the moment the three of you reunited for the first time on this movie.
Mhm.
So
It
set the
was-
scene for us.
honest honest to God, it was like we never left. It was
Wow.
just we were all right there. It was like 40 years hadn't gone by. It was like we just worked yesterday. It was weird, you know. It was we just walked on the set. Hey man, how you doing? Good man, how you doing? Okay, man, let's go to work. Okay, you know, it was weird, man. It was like nothing like we had just got done working last week. So it was great. It was great.
The thing is, for Eddie especially, I mean, Axel Foley is his major breakout role. It is the role
Sure.
that you say Eddie
Mm.
Murphy. Axel Foley is the role that jumps to everybody's mind, and it's such a special role for him in his career, really turning him into the megastar. I guess so. Number 3 came along, but were there any kind of like jitters on the role? You know, stepping back into these roles. I mean, there must have been some just amazing feeling for the three of you to, you know, the first running of lines for it.
Well, uh, you know, I had just 2 weeks. I had just finished working on a film in Chicago 2 weeks prior to starting this, and I know the pressure that everybody felt, you know, because of past performances on the third one and stuff, and the anticipation for 4 is so high, and you could feel the tension. I mean, the first day, you could feel the pressure. You know, I mean, but and I felt it. You know, I'll be honest, I felt it, but I had to sit down and just say to myself, it's just a movie, man. You know, you've done it. You've done it. And you just relax and do your role. And what happens, happens, you know? I mean, when we did the first Beverly Hills Cop, I mean, I never approached it with saying, man, this is going to be a huge movie. This is going to be a hit movie. It was a job, you know, and I went to work and I did my job and I went home. And that's the only way you can really approach it is to concentrate on your character and your relationships with the other characters and do your job and go home, you know. And a lot of the other things take care of themselves. I mean, that's why I watch my movies, and I've told you I watch my movies once and that's it. I don't ever watch them again because I can't change anything.
Yeah.
I go to the first one out of curiosity because I want to see how it came out, and I want to see the audience reaction, and you know, hopefully it's going to be a good one, I think. But after that, I don't ever see them again. You know, I just there's nothing I can change. It is what it is. I did my job, and I can't change it. And a lot of that feeling comes from being a stage actor because I did stage for 20 years before I started doing films, and you don't get a chance to redo it on stage. you you got to lay it out there and do the best you can, and then you go home, and you don't get a chance to do it again. You know, so when you're on the set working and shooting, then a lot of times you can say, hey, can I have another take? I think I can do it better or something. But once the finished product is out there, there's nothing you can do about it. It's done. So going to watch it a million times, you know, and there's actors that go and watch every take on the monitors. You know, they'll cut and then they'll go look at the monitors and they go watch it. I can't watch it. I've never been to Daily. I went to Dailies once when I first started in 1971. I hated everything I saw, and I said I will never do that again, because in Dailies, of course, that was during film. Not now; it's everything's digitized. But during film, there's 6 or 8 takes out there that you're watching. And as an actor, you're going to pick out the worst ones. Those are the ones that stick in your head. So I swore to myself after that I would never go to dailies, and I never have. And even on the monitors, I tell them to hide the monitors. I don't want to look at them. And I got to concentrate on what I'm doing. I can't concentrate on that thing over there.
In regards to that, between all the people who have returned on this movie, obviously you also have Paul Reiser and Bronson Pinchot as well have returned to their roles. I mean, this truly does feel like more of a love letter to the Beverly Hills Cop franchise. So was the magic still there?
I hope so. I mean, I don't have any scenes with them, so we didn't work together on the film. Of course,
I
I
meant
didn't.
with Judge and Eddie mainly.
Yeah, Paul and I never had scenes because all his scenes are in Detroit, and Bronson Pinchot and I never had any scenes because that was with he and Eddie and Judge, in the shop there, and so I never had any scenes with him, and I don't have any scenes with him on this one. So,
But as for the Three Musketeers, we're expecting it all to still be there, just like old times.
I think it'll be cool. I saw him in a makeup trailer. That's the only time I saw him.
Well, in kind of looking here, there was a couple of quick questions that came up. One, in relation to Mark Malloy, and obviously now you've worked with Marty Brest on the original Beverly Hills Cop. You worked with the late Tony Scott on Beverly Hills Cop 2, and now Mark Malloy. So it's 3 different directors over the movies that you've been involved with in the Beverly Hills Cop. And what would you say? Is there? What's the best way I can put it? What kind of separates these?
Where you're
3
going,
directors?
man. I don't know if I can answer it, but go ahead.
So, I mean, what are the unique things that these 3 directors have brought to this trilogy when coming along?
Well, they all have their own mark, I mean, and Mark is, I don't know how old he is. He's probably mid-30s, something like that, which is about what Marty was when we did the first one. I called Marty before I started shooting, and I had a long talk with Marty on the phone, and I just thanked him for everything he did for me, and helping me and Judge create those characters. And he said, "Oh man, you made my career. You made it easy." Marty's that way. He doesn't. You can't compliment him because he says, "No, you did it for me. I didn't do it for you." And anyway, so I had a long talk with Marty, and he wished me luck and everything. And actually, in the makeup trailer, I told Bronson pre-show that I talked to Marty, and he goes, "Oh, can I have Marty's number? I want to call him." So I Bronson Marty's number, and anyway. They all 3 of them have, every director you work with has got their own special way of working, and you adapt to it, and I got my own way of working too. I approach the character a certain way, and and I try to do the best I can and try to do the things that they give me as direction, that I try to help work with them, and it's a collaboration, that it's,
yeah,
if I'm doing something wrong, I hope the director says something to me, and if I do it right, it's nice for him to say perfect, that's great. So it's a collaboration. And Tony was different. Tony was very energetic and frantic, and that kind of energy, and actually, Mark would reminded me a lot of Marty, actually, in a way.
Wow.
The way he worked and, in his process. So anyway.
That's amazing. I'm sure I'll be glad to hear that.
I've just been going through the cast list as far as IMDb is concerned. Little bit disappointed, and I can understand why he wasn't in the movie, but a little bit disappointed that Hector Alonso didn't show up at least in a little cameo in this so far. So I just think it would have been nice just for there being a moment between his character and Taggart. It's just, I just think that would have been a nice little moment, but no, he's not in this. But
I'm disappointed Steven Berkoff didn't come back.
Yeah.
That's because he's dead, dear boy.
No, do his Comic Con. No, I don't come back.
Yeah, that would have been an uncome. And I love Hector's a good actor. You know, there's no, you know, I have no qualms about Hector. You know, but it would have been a funny scene to say, "Hey, I'm back now. Fuck off."
That should be the tagline of the movie, really, shouldn't it?
Yeah. The heat is back, so fuck off.
Yeah.
Okay, just a couple of questions. If you can answer them or not, that is fine. These are what people have sent me today. Obviously, Netflix now has just had a hit with Glass Onion getting a 1-week theatrical release before going up onto the streaming platform. Naturally, with Jerry Bruckheimer and the Beverly Hills Cop franchise, do we think this would get a theatrical release for even a week to 2 weeks prior to going?
Well, you want my opinion? Absolutely. You know, I mean, you know, the whole world's waiting for this movie to come out. You know, I mean, I have fans all over the world. You know, and I get stuff on my social page. You know, how excited they are for it. I mean, and I think Top Gun was supposed to go right to streaming too, and Jerry and Tom Cruise said no, we want to release it. And then what they do? They released it and made what, $1 billion worldwide on the release. So I can't see them not going theatrical. Like really, I hope they do. Obviously I have no say in that, but I certainly hope it goes theatrical before it streams.
Yeah, if Glass Onion is anything to go by, it is a strategy that is going to work. So we want to see Beverly Hills Cop on a big screen.
Oh, absolutely. It makes total sense.
Another question is, like Eddie Murphy's sequel Coming to America that was released on Amazon Prime, which was a huge hit for Amazon Prime. But will Beverly Hills Cop 4 be kind of toned down and politically correct as that movie was? We probably can't even comment on that. I know there is a diehard or audience of Beverly Hills Cop fans who want the Beverly Hills Cop of old. But are we expecting a PG-13?
For Cop 4? Not the way the dialogue is.
Okay, so there's more than one F-bomb. We get it. Yeah.
Way more than one F-bomb.
Yeah, you want to see what happens to the banana in this movie.
Yeah, well, but the weird thing is, and I think I can tell you this, I had a scene where it was a funny scene, but that I wanted to smoke a cigar in, because Taggart smokes cigars. And I went. We did the first rehearsal, and I put the cigar in, and they stopped, and they said, "You can't smoke." And I said, "What?" And they said, "That's a Netflix policy. You can't smoke." I go, "Taggart smokes cigars. I mean, that's," and they wouldn't let me smoke a cigar, which kind of pissed me off. But anyway,
yeah, there is a lot of the no smoking policy in a lot of movies.
Yeah,
nowadays.
If that's the case, they'll never do Midnight Run. That's for sure.
Watch your cigarettes around this guy, Jack.
Yeah.
Well, you know, you work with what you got, you know. So we worked out something else that we think was just as funny. So hopefully it will be.
A good question here, whether you can answer it or not. And they've asked, is Taggart and Rosewood going to be like a Starsky and Hutch style cameo just at the end, or are they in the movie for a good portion of time?
We are an intricate part of the movie, believe me.
Perfect. That is
Wonderful.
all you need to say.
Yes.
We're all happy. Here's a question even I want to know. Does Beverly Hills Cop Axel F finally erase Beverly Hills Cop 3 from canon?
I don't know if I can answer that, but I certainly hope so.
I just hope they're actually bringing the theme tune back.
Oh,
what's
the theme tune? You know, you can't have a Beverly Hills Cop movie without the Axel F theme tune, and if they don't include that, I will be very, very disappointed.
Steve, have you seen Top Gun Maverick?
No, I haven't.
Trust me. they opened Top Gun Maverick with Danger Zone, right? Exactly the same, right? And that was one of the things that the fans just went absolutely nuts for straight off and knew they were in safe hands. I think we can honestly say Axel F is almost a character, of the movie, that theme tune. So I'd be amazed if we don't hear.
What scene are you? I can't understand you. Scream scene?
No,
theme tune.
Theme tune. The infamous Harold Faltermeyer Axel F theme tune.
Oh, yeah, right. Like I say, that's not my job, but I assume they will put it in there somewhere.
I've even got a question here. So you say that you said it was better to fly out to Los Angeles to meet Mark Malloy in person. How much influence was playing golf in that decision, John?
Well, no, it was nice weather in Colorado. I could have played golf here, and I didn't even take my clubs there. And believe me, LA is not my favorite place anyway. So I flew in. I had a Tuesday morning meeting with him. I flew in Monday afternoon, had dinner with my son Monday night, had the meeting with Mark at 10 o'clock Tuesday morning, and had a 2 o'clock flight out of there. I literally flew in and flew out.
I've had longer layovers than that. Okay, well, realistically, I mean, there is so much going on. Obviously, we've got Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Kevin Bacon is now added to the cast in kind of undisclosed roles. Obviously, reuniting with you from She's Having a Baby.
Mm-hmm.
That's John Hughes' connection from the 80s there. Same year as Beverly Hills Cop 2, I believe.
It was 86, I believe, or 87.
Yeah, so it would have been around that time. So obviously now, I mean, I obviously want to give you kind of this platform now, for you to basically tell us, how much gratitude you have for this happening and people never really letting Beverly Hills Cop 4 go. They always wanted to see it. So how do you feel about reuniting with all of these people that you've taken this special career journey on?
Well, I love the fact that we're doing, that we did it, and it's always been, from the first one, Jerry and Don Simpson, after the first one came out, they wanted to make a whole sequel of them around the world.
Yeah.
The second one they wanted to do in London, where the three of us go to London and screw up the Scotland Yard and everything, but they didn't. And but their plan after the first one was to go to Tokyo, London, go all over the world with them, and do them in different places. But they decided to stick them all in Beverly Hills because they are Beverly Hills Cop is the title. So. No, I'm very proud to be in the franchise, and I know Netflix has picked up the rights to do 5 too.
Wow.
So this does well. There might be a 5th one. So
you heard it here first, folks.
Unless you can read the internet.
Well, I know they have the rights to it, but I think if this is successful, there'll be a 5th one probably.
When you mentioned they were planning to come to London, I was trying to work out in my head what would it be called, because you can't call it Beverly Hills Cop. And I've worked out that you possibly could call it Notting Hill Cop, but it just wouldn't have the same resonance.
No,
you couldn't really have gunfights in there. It'd just be people going, "Hello, governor."
Well, there'd have to be a tag on it,
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
Beverly Hills Cop,
So it just would have been Shanghai Nights.
FU Scotland Yard or something,
Yeah.
Be the subtitle or something.
Oh yes. So how many British stereotypes can you fit into a Hollywood movie?
Yeah,
as many as you want. You've got all our actors. So
I'm not having you Americans come over here and then destroy our brilliant police force. There'd be all that sort of thing.
Yeah,
Well,
definitely.
Yeah.
Well, John, obviously, apart from Beverly Hills Cop, you have also still been busy. Two other movies that you've been working on as well.
right.
Tell us about them if you can.
Well, in the spring, I did a film called Lonesome Soldier. We shot it in New Mexico, and the company I worked for, they want me to be involved with it, and they want to do a series of military based films, and which I think is great. And this was the first of a series they want to do, and it's about a young kid that goes to Iraq and comes back and has PTSD. And I play his grandfather, who was a Vietnam vet, and I'm trying to help him through his situation. And it's a cool little film. And right after that, I went to Chicago and did All Happy Families, which is about a dysfunctional family. And I played the father in that one. And it's the same Harula Rose directed Once Upon a River that I did back in 19 or 2016 or 17 or 18.
Really good movie.
Thank you. Well, she directed this film and wanted me to be in it, so I play the father of this family, and it's kind of a dramedy kind of thing. But it was great to work with her again, and then like I said, I got called to start negotiating Cop 4 while I was in Chicago shooting that, so it was kind of a weird thing. But I finished that in mid-August and had 2 weeks off and went right to LA and started Cop 4. So it's been a busy year. I need a vacation.
yeah, you
And
definitely
my
need a
golf game
vacation.
has suffered quite a bit.
Yeah. Well, no, John, we've been friends for a while now. It is so great seeing this journey back to Beverly Hills Cop 4 from when we first started talking about it. And we're all like, we're waiting, where's the call coming? And now to finally see that happen. And obviously, you're a great staple of this show. We love having you here. And
I love being here.
I know.
Believe me, when we started negotiating, I said, well, I want to read the script. And I had already had my meeting with Mark, and I read the script, and I was so happy when I read the script that the way because I was worried, as you mentioned earlier, is it just going to be, a cameo role at the end, and believe me, it's not. We are very integral in the movie, and I was so happy about that, and so was Judge.
yeah, we're all happy about that. Even if we're not going to see Judge in the Santa Claus 4 because of it. we can forgive that. We can forgive it. But go on,
coming
Steve,
back, coming back to this after so long, and you and Judge were kind of like the Laurel and Hardy, really, and bouncing off each other, probably more than you were bouncing off Eddie. But you were still doing quite a lot of stuff that was very, very physical and very demanding. How did you find coming back to this? And did you have to go through any kind of special training to get yourself back ready into the role, or was it just?
No, but I mean, we have the shootouts and stuff, and rolling around. It was a little different. They had to put one more mat down this time.
Was there any instance of you just saying, I'm getting too old for this shit, and then the copyright guy comes in and says,
Oh, yeah.
Actually, John, you can't say that.
Yeah, right. Oh, you want me to dive in those rocks? I need 2 mats then. Okay.
I'm picturing just like something out of like a Mel Brooks film where you look like you're about to dive, and then it cuts to a stunt guy that's doing the actual dive and looks nothing like you.
Bring back the 80s stunt doubles.
Yeah.
And double is a very loose term. But no, John, we always love having you on. We look forward to getting you back on shortly. I know that we are planning a large Christmas episode where we're going to have a bunch of people. We would love to have you come join for a bit of festivities with us for an hour. We have a bunch of
I'd
other
love to.
actors,
I'd love
and seeing the Christmas spirit and seeing the new year. We were supposed to do last year, but I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
one of us got ill.
That'll be me. COVID.
Was that you? Yes.
Yes.
So, well, this year we're
Well,
avoiding it.
It's a strange thing that one bet has changed the world.
I know. God. My mum's been sick with that recently, actually. She's been laid up with my stepdad over the last a week and a half or so. It was the first time catching it. I've had it twice. It's nothing the second time round. It's whatever.
Brag.
Well, believe me, on the show, we're very strict. I mean, we got tested constantly.
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. Is the COVID protocols on Hollywood productions as big as this? Is it still as stringent as it was 2 years ago? Is it still in full
They were
effect?
very, very strict, very strict. I mean, I wouldn't, if I had like 3 or 4 days off and then I had to go back, they would send a nurse to my condo and give me a test at my condo the night before I had to go to work. And then I'd go to work in the morning, and then they test me again as soon as I got there. And I just got tested the night before. They were testing us constantly. Believe me, They were very, very strict about it.
Well, it's good to see that it's happening. I know a lot of indie productions just don't even bother nowadays.
Like, it's amazing how, getting really off topic, but sticking with COVID. When I got my first batch, I had a test, just like one of the standard tests. I had that, started feeling a bit crappy. Work sent me home, and then I just went and got one of the proper tests. And next thing you know, I was full blown with it. And the difference was about 6 hours from having nothing on a standard test to having one of the proper PCR tests. And just, so, I'm not surprised. I'm quite glad that they are still keeping on top of it, because it would do far more damage to Hollywood if they didn't, I think.
It was unbelievable. It was really unbelievable. My son came to the set one day to visit me because he wanted to watch this one scene we were going to shoot, and they wouldn't even let him on the lot. I mean, if you weren't on the crew, you couldn't come in. I mean, that was it. They were very, very strict.
Yeah, I experienced that at Warner Brothers this year when I went along there, and it was kind of very strict that they weren't letting a lot of people on the lot. I don't know how they let me in, but still.
Well,
Bill.
The thing is, if somebody gets it, I mean, it shuts down production, and that costs a lot of money. I mean, the film I did in Chicago, we had a wonderful cinematographer, JoJo, female photographer, and she was very good friends with Hutchins. She was very good friends with her, the one that got killed in New Mexico. Hutchins.
Helena Hutchins.
Yeah,
on Rust. Yeah.
Anyway, JoJo got COVID in Chicago, and they were testing us pretty good there. And that was an independent film, and they were testing us pretty good, and she got it, and it just caused what they had to do. Now the assistant cinematographer took over and would shoot a scene and then send it to her because she was on lockdown at her apartment, and they would send her the scene through Zoom, and she would look at the scene and then criticize it, tell her the changes to make. So every time we did a shot, we had to sit and wait till it went back to her, till she looked at it and then sent her notes back through Zoom, and they talked back and forth through Zoom on the set. And I mean, it took forever to do a scene after she got it. And she came back luckily a week. She was only gone a week, but that's the havoc that it causes. And can you imagine if Eddie got it? I mean, well, it would have cost him a fortune.
Well, we all remember the Mission Impossible stories that was just ongoing and ongoing. That movie's still not out yet, but that thing was getting shut down like every week, what it felt like, because of somebody testing positive or someone breaching the protocols in place or whatever. you know, I'm going to be sad when that movie gets released because we'll have no more stories about it to cover. From how good it is.
And the thing is, in Colorado, we're pretty over it. You know, nobody wears masks. I mean, a few people do because they want to, but we're pretty much over it. And then when I got to LA, it was like, holy cow, these people. You go to all the restaurants close at 8 o'clock now.
Yeah, I found that incredibly bizarre. That one of the things I was found bizarre about LA when I was there earlier this year is people walk into the restaurant with their masks on and then take them off to sit down. It's like,
yeah,
I'm just not getting it.
I don't get it either. People
why
driving
bother wearing a mask going in at all if you're going to take it off
people
when you just
driving
go
their
to sit
cars
down?
with their mask on, with the windows up, and they're the only one in the car, and they got a
Why
mask
do they do that?
on. I have no idea.
It's LA, Steve.
No,
Just don't ask questions.
I've seen them do it over here as well, the exact same. Okay, I get it if you're a taxi driver or something, but if you're the only person that's in your car, why have a mask on?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I mean, it's kind of weird on the set because the crew has to wear their masks, but the actors aren't.
Yeah.
So what's, it's kind of, obviously the actors can't wear masks. We got to perform. So it's just weird to me,
I'd love to actually see a version of Beverly Hills Cop where everyone has got a mask on. And you can't hear any of the dialogue or anything because you can't hear anything.
It'd be funny if we all had hazmat suits on,
Yes. Doing the shootouts with full hazmat suits.
Yeah, there's been a dirty bomb let off in Beverly Hills, so everyone's got to wear these suits and hazmat suits. But then again, if you really want to see, a movie where people are just going to be wearing masks all the way through, that kind of situation in Los Angeles, just go on the Red Line. People are wearing masks there all the time, as well as a gun and a knife. I almost got shot on that Red Line, so I can say.
Well, yeah, I remember you telling me that.
I didn't feel that threatened when I was in Mexico.
Universal Studios, right?
I was coming back from Universal Studios, and the strange thing was the shooting wasn't on the Red Line. Although riding the Red Line is one of the worst. It's actually now one of the worst experiences I have. I stopped traveling on the Red Line on this last trip and just got Ubers instead after this incident. I got to Union Station and I got up to the Gold Line to head into Pasadena. And I was just on the platform. I'm looking up to see if the train's actually coming down. And next minute, what I thought I heard was that sound like when someone drops a skateboard and it makes that bang sound. And then I saw people running and I just turned to my right and there's just a guy there dropped to the floor and another guy's over him, like trying to sort, and everyone is just running around like crazy. The guy stood next to me. He's like, dude, that guy next to you just got shot. And I'm like, what? Wow. I was like, I was right next to that guy. I remember Bill. I told Bill, I messaged him saying, guys just got shot. I'm here on the platform still. And he's like, do you want me to come and get you? I'll get in the car now and come and get you. I was like, oh, no, train's here. It's fine. I've been to Salford, Don't shoot you there. They drive over you in case the bullet missed.
That's scary.
Yeah, it was an experience. Not one I want to relive. But it was not a good introduction.
We had to shoot different weapons in this film because of the incident in New Mexico.
Yeah.
So the guys at the prop guys were fantastic on this film and the armors and everything, but because of that incident in New Mexico, we had to change a bunch of stuff, and it kind of was a little irritating. But
yeah, so they've not gone the way of digitally putting in gunshots or anything like that, or have they?
Well, we the first day, with the shotgun, and I said to the armorer and the prop guy, I said, well, I like a full load, because they have quarter loads, half loads, and full loads in the blanks. And I like a full load because I know weapons a little bit, and they know that I know what I'm doing. Because I want to feel that kick. I want that, because your quarter load is like a little pop gun, and it just doesn't give you that feeling. Well, we couldn't even use those; they were total blanks. So, and you never got that real good. You had to fake that. And I was a little upset about that, but it is what it is, and
yeah, it's a changing face of the industry now.
Yeah.
So obviously, in talking about illness and stuff that we have passed, I just want to send a big shout out to our regular Bill Daly, feeling a bit under the weather. We love you, Bill. Oh, you guys could have
he
said
can't
something
answer
as well.
you back. You know that, don't you?
You guys could have said, "Get
he's
well,
not on
Bill.
this
He is
conference
watching."
call. He can't. He won't hear this until he sees the episode. You know this, don't you?
Bill, this is why you know I'm your friend. Okay.
He CC'd me in on one email. That's it.
And that was, who the fuck is Steve?
Yeah. Who am I? I don't know.
Well, listen, we're not going to take up too much of your time, John. I know you've got cigars to smoke and golf to play, and
Are you kidding? We just got 4 inches of snow, so I got nothing.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
So, but I need the rest. That's okay. Yeah. But I'd rather be resting by a pool in Hawaii somewhere than,
Yeah, well, I stuck my head out the window earlier, and it's all mist and fog and oppressive cold and damp. So I can't honestly say, as I blame you, I would much rather be by a pool in Hawaii as well.
Exactly. Yeah. But John, we do want to say thank you so much for letting us be kind of the first place you've got to talk about this and share this information with us. I know all the fans out there are going to so appreciate and feel so assured that this movie is going to be everything that they hope it's going to be. And we're excited, and we're going to have you back to talk up to its release.
I think they're going to be pleased. I choose a lot of what I do carefully, and I read the script and I loved it, and it's got everything that it's got nostalgia in it. It's got action and comedy and good actors. We got a good guest cast, and we're all back together, and I think the audience is really going to love it, and I hope they do anyway. And I enjoyed the hell out of doing it. So,
well, the question we want to know though, do you have bananas in it?
No.
Damn it! It's gonna suck. They've still got time. They've still got time.
But we do have a Grubhub guy that delivers food to us. So.
I'm amazed not one person got you with a banana gag on set. Just once. I am amazed that didn't happen. If I was there, it would have happened.
There's still time for reshoots. That's all I'm going to say.
Yes. Poor Mark's going to watch this podcast. The clock.
They can call me for that, I guess,
Yeah. Mark is going to watch this podcast now, and he'd be like, "Damn it! Quick! How much money have we got left in the budget? We need this shot."
We got $2.50. That'll give us a bunch of bananas. Yeah, there we go.
The after credit scene. It's going to be there. It's Tiger's going to be leaving the station one day, and suddenly his car is just not starting. One shot straight to a banana in the tailpipe. That is all we need. Everyone will go home happy. Our childhoods have been made.
You just made me think of a scene that I could have put a banana in. You just made me think of that.
Call him up, John. Call him up.
There was a scene I could have been eating a banana, and it would have been at least a little hint,
Get in touch with him. It's still not too late. You can do this in the reshoots.
Quick fly out to Detroit just to do that one shot. There you go. Right. Okay. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us on this extremely special Poddywood. We're obviously going to be watching the production, release, plot lines, everything about this movie. We are so excited for it. And, we just want to say again, thank you, John, for having so much faith in us and coming back to us and telling us all of this information.
Okay. Thank you, guys. And we'll see you at Christmas time.
Yeah. Definitely.
Thank you very much for putting up with our bullshit. And And it is genuinely wonderful to have you back again. You have been one of our favorite guests to have on because you just have this wealth of stories and this wonderful depth of feeling that comes with being an actor's actor. And I absolutely love having you back on. So thank you very much for coming back.
Thank you. You guys are great to work with.
For now, though, it is time to wrap this up. So, John, have you got anything else coming up besides Beverly Hills Cop 4 that we need to be talking about?
Just the ones I mentioned, All Happy Families and Lonesome Soldier. And I haven't got the script yet, but they're talking to me about doing a golf movie in Georgia. So, and if they shoot it in March, I'll be right near Atlanta or Augusta, and I can go to the Masters. So I'm hoping I love the script.
I don't even think you care if the script is any good. It's like, right, when are you shooting? That's the main thing that's important.
You had me at golf.
And I'll tell them right off the bat, I want the Augusta weekend free. I'm not working that weekend.
Well, one thing I don't know if you can talk about, but I'll add this on there. It's something we mentioned the other day. Hopefully, we're going to have a John Ashton book soon.
I'm getting in touch with some people. We're just in the beginning process now of writing a biography. So I started trying to write it myself, and I got stuck too many times, and so I'm getting somebody to collaborate with writing a book, an autobiography. So that it sounds like fun.
Yeah, wonderful.
Exactly. And if you want a preview of that autobiography, we've got 4 shows in our archives from John, which covers
the subtitle of the book is From a Juvenile Delinquent to a Beverly Hills Cop.
Nice.
Okay, that works. Yeah, that works. Yeah,
that works. That has everything in the story you need.
Yeah. Right. You relax and take a load off, John, because you've been working very, very hard recently, and you need to just smoke those cigars, like Andy said. Thank you very, very much for coming on. We're so very, very thankful that you've taken time out of your busy schedule to talk to us.
Well, I love working with you guys. You guys are great, and I do have a cigar ready to be lit any minute.
Nice. I wish I was joining you, but I've quit.
Yes.
No, yes. You can't quit cigars. Cigarettes, I can dig it, but not cigars.
We've got to have one for New Year, Steve. It's tradition.
They're a gateway drug.
Anyway, I have one a day.
Right. So with that in mind, it has been a goodbye from me.
Okay, goodbye.
And a goodbye from me as well.
Bye.